In this video we're going to look at a number of functions within a spreadsheet, both to change the appearance of cells as we can see them, also look at how to sort data on a spreadsheet, and finally how to set up validation rules so we can collect appropriate data for what we want. The first thing we want to do is address listing of clients. We really want that to stand out, and we want it to be centered across the whole row here on top of each of the column titles here. So we go to A2 where our heading is at the moment, and we're going to change that to, let's say, 20 point. So we've changed that font now to 20 point. Just click off it and then click on it back again, and I'm going to select all the cells above the headings of our columns. So we've increased the size. Now we're going to center it across this selection. How do we do that? Once we've selected the cells we want to center it across, we right click that area, go to Format Cells, we want to go to Alignment, and under that we want a horizontal alignment, and that will be Center Across Selection. So if we click that and our OK button, we now find that our address listing of clients is across the center of that. Now when we click off it, it may not look like it is. One way to even make it stand out better is to select that area again that we've centered it across, right click, Format Cells, and we can go to Fill, and we can select a very light color in the background. Let's select this green, and we click OK, and we find now, if we just come off that, that our area has a green background and our heading is in the middle of that area. Okay, so that's the first step. The second one, we want these to stand out a little better, but not hugely. So we're just going to click on bold. We've selected all the headings, click on bold, and we find that now they stick out and are easy to read. We do know that the postcode is not aligned with the numbers. The numbers are normally right justified, but the heading is left justified. We want to get that heading to match where the numbers are. So if we click on postcode, we can see here's our alignment here. At the moment it's left aligned. We want it right aligned, so we click that, and now our postcode moves over to above these numbers. Right, the next thing we want to do is to sort these. So what we need to do is select the data we want to sort, and we can include the headings in at the same time. Okay, the next thing we do is go to the data menu and we go to sort. Now, let's bring this over here. Our sort gives us a number of options. The first one is my data has headers, which it has. So if we look at the sort by, we can see that we can sort by any of the headings of the column. So we want to sort by surname, and we want it to sort on values, and we want it to go from A to Z. We can change that from Z to A, or different areas. We can also sort, if we wanted to, from right to left rather than, as we're doing it, top to bottom. So it gives us a lot of options. I'll just bring those options over there because you can't see them. There we go. We can sort top to bottom or left to right. Now we're sorting top to bottom, so we don't need that at the moment. But what we do need to do is sort by surname, values, A to Z. I'll just show you what happens if we don't do that correctly. We just cancel that. Let's say we want to sort these. So we go, I'd like to sort the surnames. So we only select the surname only. If we go to data and sort, it gives us an error. saying, hang on a minute, there's data next to your selection. Since you have not selected this, it won't be sorted. So if you go ahead with the sort that you've set up here, it will only sort this column, and it will actually pull the data away from the rest of its here. That means that these surnames won't necessarily match the rest of the data here because this wasn't sorted, but this was. So we need to cancel that. When we're sorting data, we need to select all of the data. Otherwise, we will basically corrupt the data that we have. So select all the data you want to sort. Click on Sort under the Data tab. Go to Surname, because my data has headers, so it's taking the first row as the header of each of the columns, and then we can go OK. Now you'll see that this has now sorted it in surname. We could have sorted it on any of the columns that are there, or a combination of the columns. Okay, that's how to sort. The final thing we want to do is how to set up a validation rule. Now you'll notice here that all of the postcodes start with 3. That's because we're using dummy Victorian postcodes. But we want to set a validation rule that's going to make sure that somebody puts a Victorian postcode in there. So, how do we do that? Well, we go to the data, and then you should see a little icon like this with a field and a tick and a field and a cross, and if you hold your mouse over it, it will come up with data validation. So just click on that, and we want to choose data validation, which we do, and we see that we have a little window up here. Now there's 3 tabs, and we need to fill all of these out, and we'll explain why in a minute. The first thing is, what are we validating? Well, in this case, we're validating whole numbers, because each of our postcode will be a whole number. It hasn't got decimal places, so it's a whole number. And we need to specify a range. So the lowest value of the Victorian postcodes is 3000. I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm going to say 2999. And then the maximum value is going to be 3999, because once it starts at 4s, it's another state in front. Next, enter a Victorian postcode. Now these are instructions for users when you click on the cell. Enter a postcode between 3000 and 3999. And finally, error alert. If someone does something wrong, incorrect postcode. Enter postcode 3000 and 3999. Let's click OK. Now, let's come off that cell and let's click back on it. This is the one we made the validation rule in. You'll now see that instantly a little instruction comes up telling us what we should be able to do. Now I'm going to cheat, and I've made a mistake in here, and I'm going to put 2999 and enter. Now that allows me to enter that. Why? Because I didn't set my range correctly. So I have to go back on the cell, back into validation, and check the range that I set. And I set 299 as the minimum, where it should have been 3000. Just remember that these numbers are inclusive in the range. So click OK. Now I'm going to delete the contents of the cell, put 2999 in and press enter. and immediately we get an error appear telling us that we've got an incorrect postcode and we need to enter a postcode between 3000 and 3999. And that is how you validate data so that you're getting good data going into your system and you're not getting data that's either incorrect or is not valid for what you're doing. We're going to put in 3000 now, and you can see that it works.